China's free gold giveaway extravaganza began months ago. It is now just making news yet again. We're going to talk about the latest in this development as we explore. That's right. China is giving away gold through proxy, through property companies, giving away gold to prop up the real estate market. I first reported on this several months ago, literally as breaking news, after it was first reported by several Western media sources. There's been radio silence since then until it was brought up yet again. And this is another example of where I cover news and it doesn't make that big of news on the channel in terms of views. I'll post a link at the end screen of this video to the original story that I covered. I hope you will consider checking that out. But I'm going to be referencing other articles on this. And the latest is several members of the community made me aware of this report from China News. It is the China Show, which is actually looking at some of their content and watching some of the other features in their broadcast. It's really good to get some inside scoop of what's going on in China. And these from these individuals who scour and who have been in China, but also scour the internet and other Chinese sites to see what's going on there. So it is pretty remarkable. But after watching the report there, it really does appear that this is kind of old news. However, there are some indications that it's still going on. It's just not being reported on in Western media anymore. But to give you a little bit of background, in case you missed, and most of you did miss my original report on this, I'm going to be referencing an article here from sixthtone.com. And China's real estate market continues to falter. A property developer in the eastern city of Yangzhou is offering hesitant buyers an eye-catching perk if they sign for a new property. A solid gold ingot, much like you see here, although there is an array of different gold bars that you see here. The size that they're looking at is about a kilo. So imagine 10 of these stacked together into one bar, and that's what's being offered. It's pretty amazing. And the offer is the latest creative tactic used by a Chinese property company to circumvent local pricing restrictions. Many cities have banned unapproved real estate price cuts as they try to shore up market confidence. So that's just it. In fact, in that report, on that channel that I mentioned earlier, which is called The China Show, they mentioned that the Chinese people, it's not about finding the way to make things work. They find a way. They circumvent. They find all sorts of loopholes because of the government controls there. And this is just the latest example of it. So essentially, through this, and a lot of these companies are in bed or owned or controlled by the government. So they're going to do whatever they can to try to prop up the real estate market, including giving away gold. It's coming from one of these big property companies who are essentially owned by the government. Developers are under pressure to revive their sluggish sales, with new property purchases down about between 15 and 18% month over month during the first 3 weeks of May. And this report, by the way, came out in June, literally a couple days before I did my video on this. So Chinese Index Academy is the one that's reporting this. That's the leading firms to offer discounts on properties by stealth, often throwing in freebies worth tens of thousands of dollars to entice buyers. One of those is the strangest yet, being free gold. Hangzhou Huan Property Company recently started promoting the deal at a new development in Linan District, about 60 kilometers from downtown Hangzhou, according to Xiamen, that they had reported on this. The bigger the apartment, the more gold buyers will receive, according to the company. Customers who purchased a 100 square meter property will be given 1.05 kilos of gold, which has a market value of about $66,000. Apartments of that size in the development are priced between 2.2 and 2.5 million yuan. So, effect buyers who receive the free gold will enjoy a discount of around 20%. And you know how gold is valued in the East and in China. So it is an enticing offer, but they can say that they got full purchase price for the gold. So that is something of benefit to the powers that be there and how they make this work. But no more stories have been done about this since about the middle of June. And this story was the latest one, or one of the earliest ones reports have been able to see. The gold offered hasn't yet helped people make up their minds, according to one agent, surnamed Zhang, told Sixth Tone. There are many other options in the district, and given how the market is, buyers are not in a hurry to make a final decision. So they're doing whatever they can to try to, but it's in trouble. But how has it been over the last couple of months? I don't know. But according to the China show, this is something that Chinese websites have been talking about and saying that look at what the government is doing to protect the real estate market. But in reality, it's a sleight of hand. It's trickery. It's using statistics and with measures like this in order to make it appear that it's propped up. And in reality, it's not. You're giving away gold to entice people to buy property that is way overvalued. And by the way, they also had mentioned that tying those two together, the gold thing and this, is all alleged to their own admission. So I don't know how much this is really happening to this point as opposed to this one organization, because they mentioned that it's multiple, it's widespread across China. But so far, based on my prior report, it was only this one organization and maybe a handful of others. But there's another piece that was done days later about this that made it to Kitco News, which is after I had already posted my video. And again, it references one Chinese property developer. But if this indeed is widespread, apparently China is latching down and putting a lock on any other people finding out if it's happening with other property owners, because they don't want this news to get out, and that would be understandable. So I tend to believe what the China show is reporting here, because like I said, they have been to China. At least one of them, I believe, has lived in China and knows how things operate there and how propaganda is such a huge part, and lies and manipulation is a huge part of the CCP, the Communist Party in China. So this very well could be a pretty big story. And they had mentioned in this broadcast that this could be an indication of a massive, massive implosion of the real estate market there. If that happens, watch out. And by the way, if that does happen, that pretty much takes all the wind out of the sails of de-dollarization and the BRICS organization and union in general. So the BRICS, as much as it's being propped up in this community, it's a very weak and very, very weak association, not only because of the differentials and the countries that are involved. They have their own issues and relations with each other, but nonetheless, also things like this where there are aspects of some of these nations that are definitely at odds and are under economic strain, as much, if not even more so, than the United States. So fascinating story indeed, very interesting, and I do appreciate in this clip that was sent to me about the transparency of what they're reporting here with the China show. But fascinating story. It's one that I had reported on a while ago, but if it really could be more widespread, it'd just be under lock and key. But think about this, using gold. The overall message here is that gold is a powerful force. Untraceable, untrackable, including transactions utilizing government to bribe people essentially with the metal. Can you imagine? I tell you what would that ever happen here in the United States? No way. It's amazing how much a part of it is in terms of the culture there in China. And they're willing to do that. They're willing to give away gold to make it happen. And, here in the United States, it's fascinating to see how different things are in terms of the culture. But you and I, those of you watching this video, you understand the value of gold and how that something that like that would be quite enticing, for sure, if no matter who made the offer. But, can you imagine, though, if the government were to come to you with a similar bribe or whatever, say, I tell you what, I'm going to give you $5,000 for 1 ounce of gold, like this 1 ounce bar that you see in the middle of your screen right there. Would you take them up on that offer? Let me know in the comment section below. I know for me, if they were to offer me a ridiculously high price for gold, that would be a sure tell sign that gold would be worth twice or 3 times that in reality, just much as we've seen in the past, especially with the confiscation measure or the order to turn in your gold, how it was valued at $20.67 per ounce. And then immediately the next year, the gold's price was fixed at $35 an ounce. And go figure, literally and figuratively. But nonetheless, gold is something that is valuable that transcends price. That example that I just gave is a perfect example of it. And I think what's happening there in the real estate market with China is another indication of the value of gold, just kind of in the opposite direction, and used to manipulate in order to give the world confidence that the Chinese real estate market is stable. But nonetheless, let me know what your thoughts are about this story. Fascinating indeed. I would like to extend a multitude of gratitude to you all for watching, and check out the videos at the end screen here. Let me know what your thoughts are about those right in here. And I'd like to extend a multitude of gratitude to you all for watching, and I encourage you to please like this video, share it, comment, and subscribe.